Am I the astronaut for forcing my son to sell the car he is inheriting? This didn't happen yet, but my whole family is fighting over this. I'll try to make this as short as possible. My father passed away in December. He owned a classic car. I believe it's a 50s Chevy Bel Air. My son, 17, is the only grandson he had. I have one sister who has 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters along with my son. So there are 5 grandkids in total. My dad was never much of a girls guy. He always got along with the boys more than the girls. He and my son were very close. He has left the car to my son in his will. The rest of the grandkids got $4,000 each. The vehicle is valued at $70,000. My sister is livid. I am very unhappy as well. It's just blatantly unfair to his 4 other grandkids. I don't understand the legality of the situation because it was left to him, but he is currently underaged. The car is currently held at my mom's house. I don't know how to force him to sell it, but I think that is what should happen, and the money can be divided equally amongst the grandkids. That's the way it should be. My son is very upset about this. He says Grandpa left him the car, so it's his car. I have money saved for his college. I am almost considering telling him that his college money will be divided up amongst his sister and cousins if he refuses to sell the car. Am I the astronaut? Yeah, boy, I have thoughts, but we have some relevant comments here. OP mentioned in the comments that her son wants to keep the car, that it isn't about money to him. He doesn't want to sell it. It's about what the car meant to him and his grandfather. OP also mentioned that the kids were left $6,000 each. Oh, so it's different now. OP comment for additional information. My husband thinks we should leave everything as is, but maybe speak to my mother about leaving more to the girls than to him when she passes. This is where most of the money is since she has my dad's estate. There were some things passed down after he died, like the car, some money for my sister and I, plus the grandkids. I think this is a good way to go about it. Comment number 1, you will be the asshole. You're asking the wrong question here. You need to ask yourself, do you intend to honor your father's last wishes about his property or not? Sure, it seems like an unfair situation all around, but forcing him to sell it would certainly damage your relationship with your son. Is it worth doing that? This could also open you up to legal action. OP, think carefully about trying this. I do not recommend it. You seem so concerned with being fair to your daughters and nieces, but you don't seem at all concerned with being fair to your son. How is it fair to basically rob him of his rightful and legal inheritance, or to threaten his college fund? Comment number 2, your son might be wondering why you don't love him. And that's a given. OP is willing and allowing 4 adults to bully him, and one of those adults is her. This whole protecting your child thing isn't happening. He's lost someone he was close to, and instead of being allowed to grieve, he's having to deal with his mother, his aunt's husband, and his adult sister, and potentially other adult sister and cousins bullying him. He's still a child. Like, geez, what a shit show of toxicity and greed on display. None of them seem to have any care at all for the fact that their dad/grandfather died. It's all just about the money. Wowza. The question is, am I the astronaut for forcing my son to sell the car that he is inheriting? Yes, you definitely will be. I understand why OP is thinking the way that they're thinking, but not once in there did they themselves mention, yes, this goes directly against my father's last wishes. Yes, I understand this is like stealing from him. I understand that this is like a case of redistribution of wealth within a family. And that is so dangerous because how old are the other kids? I have one sister who has 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters along with my son, so there are 5 grandkids total. The son is 17. We don't know how old the other kids are. But we can assume they're around the same age. So for argument's sake, we'll assume that they're around the same age here. Good gravy. I mean, my gut tells me to take it to 1. But I'm going to stick here. It will be a stupid thing to do. I understand that they think this is a Kobayashi Maru right now, right? They think that if they just allow it to stick the way that it is, that they're going to be a giant asshole to the rest of their kids, and the rest of their kids are going to get mad at them at some point here. You know what? That. We're going to 1. We're going out to 1 because this isn't your decision to make, OP. It's not your decision. It is not your decision. And if you want to go and talk to grandma about making it right whenever she passes, like what a shitty conversation. If you come up to my ass after my partner has passed, I'm still grieving, and you're like, hey, we just want to go ahead and plan on you leaving these other kids more whenever you die, because we feel like he got more right now, and we want to balance out the equation when you die, because you know your partner just died. So when you die, we want to make this right. Bunch of assholes. Like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Okay, so grandfather was closer to this one individual son. He's the only boy. And yeah, it'd be great in a perfect world if everybody got the same value of things, but this wasn't about the monetary value to him and to grandpa. This wasn't about the monetary value. This was about sentimental value. They have translated it into monetary value, and they're trying to distribute evenly amongst everyone. It is not your decision to make. And if you end up trying to do something, you're probably going to get yourself into legal trouble. It's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous game. I know that you think that this is a Kobayashi Maru and there is no win in this scenario. The first thing that you have to understand, OP, is that you don't have control of this scenario. You don't get to change this scenario at all. And I still think going and talking to grandma right now about fixing it whenever she passes would be an even bigger asshole move. That's also not your decision. And unfortunately, I think we see so many people whenever parents or grandparents are getting later in life, like start to play the freaking Game of Thrones for percentage of inheritance. I hope I go before I ever get to that point. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see my kids turn against each other and start playing Game of Thrones for freaking inheritance. Not that I'll have anything to leave them, but you know what I mean? Like, it brings out the ugliest side of people. Shit. Ugh. Yeah, Candy, or talk about punishing him by distributing his college fund. Cool. 5-10 years later, I can't understand why my son doesn't talk to me anymore. Gee, I wonder